Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video about the Warcraft movie. So when the movie, definitely a series of movies that I would like to see a lot more from in the future, with the movie being subtitled The Beginning in many parts of the world, and I think they're quite clearly setting up multiple plot lines if you've actually seen the movie for future installments to hook into. It's pretty clear that this production was meant to be a kind of tentpole to kick off a franchise, be it a trilogy or perhaps a cinematic universe. Many saw the negative reviews to be pretty much a nail in the coffin, but while reviews are nice, studios care about their return on investment. How much money do they actually make? Warcraft has a reported budget of $160 million, and it's doubtful that we'd see a follow-up if it barely managed to even break even. Warcraft needs to make a lot of money if it's going to see a sequel. So, how has it been doing? Well, its Chinese performance has led to this video existing, but first we need to cover the initial launch. It topped the box office charts in 19 of its 20 initial release countries, netting a total of $31.6 million in revenue. Its revenue then continued to climb with its second weekend, bringing it to a total of $69.1 million. And then China happened. Warcraft had the highest pre-sales on record for the country and was just shy of Fast and Furious 7's midnight sales, despite early estimates saying the Warcraft would beat it out. Its day one sales totaled $46 million, beating the previous non-weekend record of Age of Ultron at $28 million. On day 2 for China, it managed to net a rather staggering $91.9 million, and it's actually the first movie ever in China to make that much money in 2 days. Warcraft's 5-day launch gross in China totaled $156 million against a production budget of $160 million, which is very impressive. Its US release was predictably unimpressive, having grossed a very small $24 million in its opening weekend, and overall the movie currently stands at a total of $308 million income, with millions more expected as it's still got time to go in many regions. There are predictions of China contributing a total of $225 to $250 million overall, and that would be an increase of about $75 million from its current numbers. So we could be looking at a $400 million plus return from the movie. China really is particularly interesting here. First of all, the size of the Chinese market is set to outpace the domestic USA by 2017. And right now, all films, you see its domestic earnings, i.e. what it made in America, and then its international earnings, because America has, or the United States anyway, has been such a large market for, of course, Hollywood to release. So if you design, a movie that's going to do well for the 2017 market, but release it 3 years later, well, that's just a bad fit. Any sane company is thinking forward to what the market is going to be like when the projects that they're greenlighting at Warcraft is owned by Dalian Wanda, who are a Chinese conglomerate. They have access to a pretty massive distribution network as far as theaters goes in China, which is something that's contributed to Warcraft having the largest ever release, I believe covering 67% of screens in the country. Anyway, so with Warcraft, we're looking at a movie that has easily remade its production budget, who knows about marketing, and has managed to break records in what will soon be the largest single market in the film industry. So, while I know very little about the industry itself, all of these numbers on face value would appear to be very strong indicators that Warcraft is a franchise that would perform well in the movie market of the next few years. The numbers seem to add up, and I think the narrative would flow quite naturally. Another question surrounding Warcraft is whether we will see a director's cut of the movie. According to Duncan Jones, there was about 40 minutes of cut footage from the theatrical release of the film. It's certainly a movie that I think could have done with a longer theatrical cut, and I wish they had the balls to go with a running time that was maybe a little bit more similar to Civil War. Of course, I don't know what footage was cut, so I don't know if that would actually work, but that's just a thought. Often you see scenes that are really primarily there to build up the characters are the first to go when people are cutting down the running time of something, because they're scenes which, while they do add great context and depth, they're not actually needed to drive the plot forward as much. You can just cut between events and have the viewer fill the rest in their head. This is actually something that happens quite a lot in the games industry as well. It's kind of why you get so many exposition dumps within gaming narratives. Anyway, what you find is that the key plot moments that involve the fate of a character are severely undermined by having the scenes which develop that, or those characters, being cut. So I'm very interested to see what that additional footage is and if it would address some of the mainstream criticisms of the film. Anyway, getting a director's cut release is dependent on the success of the movie, so it is worth bearing in mind that we're also talking about a physical retail product here, so the factors that go towards greenlighting that are a little bit different. I would imagine that the USA success would play a larger part in greenlighting another physical release of, say, the director's cut of the movie, because trading a physical product in a large number of international markets is made quite a bit harder by all the different legal stuff and all the logistics of going to all these different countries and having so many different retail partners and, middleman people who are in distribution and stuff like that. So maybe the US successes, or lack of success, I suppose, would hurt our chances of a director's cut. That said, there is also the hope of digital distribution making a director's cut far easier to get into the hands of people. So hopefully that would happen.